Clock yet? God, it's still 9:59. What in the world? We can't get started till 10 o'clock. Can y'all hear me okay? All right. Jeremy Solis. Hey, Lisa Kurtz. How are you? Hey, Lisa, can you unmute? You cannot. Maybe JK2 will unmute you.
Okay, yes, sir.
Hey, wow, I'm getting an echo. So the drawing your group out,
yes,
and getting your brain like getting your brain to work for you. So you guys probably get too much information from me about that. Maybe y'all think it's cuckoo, whatever, but so you sent me a text this morning. Tell everybody what happened.
Well, so John had mentioned, and he mentions it all the time, probably, which is fine. We have to hear it a lot about writing down your goals and drawing out your team. So I've been sales manager before, but I want to get to sales manager again before Phoenix. So I wrote down 4 goals, and then I did the circle like he does and put my name in it. And then I drew out 3 lines for 3 people, and I stuck it in a bin. I have a bin on my desk. So I pulled it out yesterday and realized I met one of the goals, and I have 2 new team members. So
you drew out this thing, and so you drew it out before the team members were ever here.
That's right.
So you drew it out. So in the terms of how we teach getting our brains working for us, basically it wasn't a really hard thing, but you programmed your subconscious mind for that to happen, and then you consciously didn't. I don't consciously. You can correct me, but consciously, you probably didn't think much about it afterwards.
I really didn't. No.
And then the next thing you know, you look at it and it's like, wow.
Yes.
You know, I'll tell you guys, I think there's way more than what we even teach. I think if people would really start taking themselves serious, not taking themselves, taking serious how to program your subconscious mind, how to get your brains working for you, making sure you're not speaking negative, but creating pictures. I think drawing groups out, you know, what do you desire? Do you desire a team of, 12 to 15 writers? You know, I was on the phone yesterday with Chris Tinsman for about an hour. And she is going to be our guest next Thursday. I hate to even announce it that far in advance, because if you guys get 5 minutes of what I got yesterday for an hour, you're going to wish away your week. Like, you're going to okay, how it's like Thursday being, it's like, come on, like, how can Thursday get here? It's like, come on, can she not come on tomorrow? Can we do a call on Sunday morning? Like, do we have to wait till next Thursday? Golly. Okay. Getting your brains to work for you. Drawing out what you want, visualizing it, creating pictures in your mind, and then writing it down, speaking it, all of the I think, what if people just did that for 5 apps a week? You could be a struggling agent out there, and you could say, you know what, I'm struggling. I pick on my buddy Jason Kaya. I don't know if Jason's even on, but over 31. Yeah, over 31. So I am like over 31. Okay. So, but what if I start speaking that, hey, I write 5 to 7 apps every week. I write 5 to 7 applications every single week. I write 5 to 7 every single week. I recruit 7 to 10 people. Like, I can't help it. I just do it. Every single week I recruit 7 to 10 awesome people, excited people. Awesome people are attracted to me. Awesome people want to meet me. Awesome people want to talk to me. And then, so I do the work and program in my subconscious mind. And then you know what I do? You know what I do? Y'all listen to this. Casey, you're going to love this. Look, he's drinking coffee. Anne-Marie's going, he's getting ready to get cake. No. Hey, Casey. Casey's an old football player. He's going to love this. You know what you do? You do the unthinkable. You do the unthinkable. You dive in and you say, you've got, I'm going to go through my list and here's my script. Y'all want to know what my script is? Here's my script. How can I help you? I'm a licensed life insurance agent. I'm a licensed field underwriter. Your form got put on my desk. How can I help you? Give me the no so I can go. You probably don't want life insurance. You probably couldn't qualify. You probably can't afford it. I get all that. How can I help you? Let me go on record for saying this, and I promise you I'm going to bring on Claudia and Rob right after this. If I heard a guy teach one time, and he was in life insurance. I don't know where he is today. I don't know if he's still in life insurance, but he was doing a life insurance sales talk, and he was explaining why he thought he was really good at life insurance sales. And do you know what he taught about? He taught about deciphering their personality, asking them yes questions, getting them in a yes frame of mind. And then before he started his presentation, I always asked them for a glass of water. Did he want the glass of water? No, it was in his mind. He thought, if I can direct them and get them doing something for me, then and I'm telling you, I'm listening to that and I'm going, if I had to think about that, if I had to do what that guy did, I wouldn't be in this industry. It sounded a lot like manipulation. It sounded a lot like I don't know, it's just like it was not genuine. How about this? I love people. I don't want you to have a GoFundMe. I don't have the most eloquent script in the world, but how can I help you? The bottom line is do the unthinkable. Do the unthinkable. Go do the work. So many of you guys, you're struggling because you're not working. You're thinking about it, and at the end of each day, you're worn out from thinking about all the work that you could have done. But if you embrace the process and you did the unthinkable by dialing the phone, how can I help you? I'll tell you guys, I've been reading so many phone scripts like this week alone. Ethos, like some scripts, I think I laugh at myself and I'm going, man, that was horrible. Like, yeah, Lisa, thanks for laughing. Like I did a script the other day on an Ethos client, and it was so bad, I wouldn't have even done it. Like I would have it was just terrible. But then sometimes I say something, I'm going, man, that sounded like Rob Gillen. Like, how can I help you get across the finish line? Like, ooh, that's so good. Like every time I say that, I want to be really transparent with my clients and go, hey, I didn't make that up. Like I got that from a guy named Rob Gillen. He's up in Maine. Like he's like good looking. He's really sharp. He's like developing into, the greatest rock star in all of you know, and all of insurance. So I didn't make that up. I got that from him. Do the unthinkable. Do the unthinkable. And so this is what I wrote down. Like, so in my notebooks, this is how I work. So I've got these now. I write down the people I'm calling. This is where I do my little chicken scratch, like if I'm doing quotes and things like that. But I have to write things down to remind me. The other day, I think this was on Monday, I wrote, get a no from everyone on my list. Just get a no from them. Get a no from everybody on my list. Just like get a no. Get a no from every, and this was on Prop Hog. KCG, Prop Hog. I wrote down this. Get a no from every licensed agent in St. Johns County. That fires y'all up, doesn't it? Like, man, what about the yeses? And then I wrote this down. This was on Tuesday. Do the freaking unthinkable. Do the unthinkable. Cornerstone, let's do the unthinkable. Let's actually go grow. Hey, leaders, how many ICAs have you gotten this week? Like, seriously. Why don't we do the unthinkable? Why don't we go outgrow everybody in Equus? Why don't we create such a big success story that these people that walk around and like they make people edify them? They like there's people on their team that if they speak and they don't edify them, it's like you're gonna be in trouble. How in the world can people like that be beating us? How? Hey, Cornerstone, let's do the unthinkable. Hey, Mary Hawk, hey, let's go grow. You ready? I see you got the Golden Gate Bridge behind you. You ready? I know you're speaking, but you're probably muted. I'm just like, give me a hands up. Yeah, let's go do the unthinkable. We've got freaking rock stars like Jeremy Solis. We've got rock stars like Carrie Fontenez. We've got Chris Bittinger. I'm gonna figure out how to pronounce his last name. We've got the most incredible leaders in the entire insurance industry here. Let's just you know what these things remind me of? You know what they remind me of? It reminds me to go to that place in my mind where I'm at 212. I can't sit down and work at 211. You know what happens at 211? I get distracted. I think about this and I think about that, and I'm going, oh, well, let me go on social media just really quick. Let me do this. Let me do that. Like, at 211, I get distracted. 212 for me is to go to that place in my mind where there is nothing but action. There is no social media. I was listening to Andrew Taylor. Y'all know who Andrew Taylor is? Massive, young, multi-millionaire. And you know what he said? Hey, when I'm in my personal sales mode, I actually go in and delete social media off of my phone. I don't even have it because it's too much of a distraction and I know it robs me of my time. So when I'm in my personal sales mode, I go in and delete it. That's what he said. Today's topic, and I'm bringing on Rob Gillen and I'm bringing on Claudia Matthew for the next little bit. We're going to talk about Ethos leads. Guys, here's the thing about Ethos leads. It's a story. It's a story. It's a story just like mortgage protection leads. See, Here's what I don't ever want us to fall victim to. I don't want us to ever, the next 2 Thursdays, you're going to have Ethos leads put front and center. And here's what it's going to make you do. It's going to make you want to go work them. Now, I'm all for that. I think our team, I would love for our team to be working Ethos. I would love for everybody to be working Ethos. I would love everybody to be working and making money and excited about their life and seeing their bank account every week grow and get that feeling. At some point in time, you get that feeling where all of a sudden life is not urgent. All of a sudden a flat tire is not urgent. All of a sudden your transmission goes out, it's not urgent. All of a sudden your family member calls you and asks you for that $2,500 loan that they promised they'll pay you back. It's not urgent. And guess what? You don't even care if they pay you back, because $2,500 to you now is kind of like what $2 used to be to you. It just like, maybe it's there, but like, you don't let a relationship get ruined because it's not that big a deal. So Ethos leads, Ethos is a story. It's people that go to a consumer-driven website, pretty awesome, if you will. But the story is go to our website, write your own application. You don't need a life insurance agent. Just go to the website, write your own application. And here's the thing. It's massive. It's massive. Like if you knew the number of people that were getting life insurance via Ethos, like it would amaze you. But here's the thing. So people go to that website, they start life insurance applications, and guess what happens? They don't complete it. I was on the phone with a lady the other day, and she laughed, and she was like, "Oh, thanks for calling me." She says, "The only reason I didn't complete it is because I didn't have my husband's driver's license number." So people that don't complete the application, they become a lead. They didn't ask anybody to call them. Okay. And according to Chris Tinsman, these are buyers. Okay. So today we're going to launch it. I've asked Rob Gillen, who, hey, you guys see every single week, Rob lights it up. Rob posts like we've got an atmosphere inside of Cornerstone where we've got a group me. And when we make a sale, we post that sale on GroupMe, not because we made a sale, it's because we're celebrating a family being protected. There was a person one time that would never post their sales, and I asked them, I was like, "Why don't you ever post?" They were like, "Well, I don't want to brag." It's not about us. It's about simply following the process and is celebrating a family that's been protected. That's what we're all about. So Ethos, just like mortgage protection, just like direct mail, just like IVR, just like life leads, just like final expense, just like all of it, it's simply tapping into a segment of the population that does X. Okay, for mortgage protection, it's people that have that get a mortgage or refinance, and it's all, you only get in touch with people that are willing to fill out a form. They're either willing to write out their information, lick it, mail it back in, direct mail, or they go to a 1-800 number and they go through 4.5 minutes of voice prompts. Yes. Yes, no, yes. So one of the things that I want to remind Cornerstone is, hey, let's not limit our success to leads. We typically think, because we get in lead-driven sales, we typically think leads are the only people that exist in the universe. It's actually a very small percentage of people that exist in the universe. let's think bigger than leads. Okay, but mortgage protection is a story. Incomplete IVRs are a story. You remember the 4.5 minutes of voice prompts? How about people that don't complete the 4.5 minutes of voice prompts and they go, here, click on whatever. It's a story. So Ethos, the story is these people, they see an Ethos ad, they want life insurance. That's a big part of it. And they go to the website, they take action, they don't procrastinate. They go to Ethos's website and they start their own life application. Some of them think they're just trying to get a quote. Some of them know they're starting life. It doesn't matter. These are the types of people that we actually get through their lead system. And the thing that I love about Ethos leads is the cost. I think you can get on an A lead standing lead order for Ethos leads at $18 a lead. $18 is a lot less than 80. You can get you can get inventory. I'm still like, I think about how the lead is created, and I'm not even sure that inventory leads wouldn't even be stronger than A leads. Think about it. Think about it. It's simply time that passes. You know what I love finding? I love finding people that got a life insurance policy within the last year. Hey, give me every single Ethos person that went on their website. They didn't get a policy at that point in time. They got off, so a lead was generated. Maybe they went back on Ethos and got a policy, or maybe somebody else called and sold them the whatever. I love talking to those people. Hey, so you got a term application, fantastic. How much cash value do you have currently in that? Are you generating cash value? Oh, you're not? Okay. I mean, I love talking to people that have a life insurance application. So I say that to just say that I'm not too sure that the $8 leads aren't just as strong as the $18 leads. So anyway, that sets the table. Rob Gillen, Claudia Matthew. Rob, I'll start with you. Man, thanks so much for kind of leading the charge here. And but man, give us, and I'll have Claudia follow you, but just give us your 2 to 5 minute set the table dissertation about what you love about Ethos leads.
Yeah, thanks, John. Can you hear me? Well, first of all, I'll say I am humbled to be going before Claudia because she's a legend in this industry. I showed up yesterday and she's been teaching me all kinds of stuff. I'll just give her a quick shout out. In August of this year, I'm flying into Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm doing a seminar at a church. They're doing a financial series. And after one of their services, they're going to do a meal. And then they're going to invite anyone that needs questions answered about life insurance to come to the conference room where there's going to be a free meal. And there's going to be a specialist there named Rob Gillen who's going to be teaching them about the difference between term, whole life, IUL, annuities. And then anyone who needs help with their coverage, they can reach out to Rob. I'm going to give out my business cards, a bunch of packets of information. I'm paying for the meal. It's going to cost me about $300. The pastor there is a friend of mine. I just did a key man policy on him. That's one of the policies I submitted this week, was a $2 million 20-year key man policy on him. That was all from Claudia Matthews. She's the one that taught me to do that. So she's going to be embarrassed about this, but can we just give a round of applause to have Claudia Matthews in our personal regency?
Yeah.
So I'll go first.
Hey, Rob,
the pre-show.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah.
You know what we need? We need, like, and I don't even know if we have the ability to do it, but I love the shout out like that. We need to have the ability where JK2 can just unmute everybody for like 3 seconds and everybody just yells and just gives a shout out. So I don't even know, but maybe we'll do that in the future.
Yeah, Claudia is, oh my gosh, you're such a gift to our group. I could go on for another 20 minutes, but thank you for your humility. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for the fact that you genuinely love people. Thanks for staying on the phone with me that one night for like 30 minutes, just coaching me on how to do that. I can't imagine how much I'm going to make. I'm going to guess I'm going to make between five and $10,000, and that's because of you. And it gets to go to my kids, and I just appreciate you so much. So I'll go before you as the pre-show. I'll warm it up. So no, Ethos came to me. Little over a year ago, John, I was kind of just highly experimental with what might work, and what I discovered pretty quickly was that, like you said, Ethos is very affordable, and there's a lot of aged inventory leads where you can get them for, I don't even know what the price is now because I bought them in bulk at the beginning of the year. I think I bought about 500 of them at the beginning of the year, and I just started working my way through them. And yeah, they're really great because the clients that are there are very straightforward. They're going for life insurance and they're looking for the best priced policies. They're looking for convenience. And just like every lead that I was running, I was experimenting. And when I called Ethos, I sold three of my first 10 that I called. And so I thought, whoa, okay. And I was in multiple different states, and some of the policies were big. One of my biggest clients, it was an $8,000 AP. He was looking for a huge term policy. He's a business owner. He doesn't have any time to waste. He's super busy, go, go, go. And so he called and I mean, he didn't call. He was looking at Ethos and he's like, hey, listen, I'm gonna be straightforward with you, man. I don't have time for this. I was trying to get on, get in, get out. And so I was like, well, what do you need? And he's like, I need a $3 million term policy. I need to get it for as long as I can get it. I think I can go like 30 years or something. And I said, well, how old are you? He was like late 40s. And I said, well, why didn't you do the policy? He's like, well, because they maxed out and they didn't have 3 million. They only had two. That's that's why he didn't buy, John, because he couldn't get enough.
Love
And
it.
so he's like, screw it. He jumped off and then he went back to his business where he makes over $500,000 a year in export import. And so I was like, hey, listen, I got you. We can do this. We'll shift over and we'll take a look at different policies. Do you mind going fully underwritten? Blah, blah, blah. So I went through all of his needs and everything. And then, yeah, then I just said, hey, does your wife need coverage? And he goes, is it going to take any more time? And I said, no, it's really not. I mean, it's going to be super fast. And listen, I'm here to serve you. So we're going to make it real convenient for you. And so, yeah, it ended up being over $8,000 AP between him and his wife, and it was one and done. So I think the one thing I'll say, because I don't want to say a whole lot, I want to pull Claudia in earlier on because I think both of us are going to be able to bring a lot at the beginning. But I would say the one thing I would say is that the psychology behind an ethos lead is that these individuals were going to a website, they were looking for convenience, they were looking for speed, and a lot of the advertising is it's going to be super cheap. They specialize in term. They're trying to get people in and out. And so when I'm talking to an ethos client, I'm talking to someone that I know they want to get it over with. They're definitely not trying to have this drawn out. A lot of the advertisements that go up from Ethos are like, hey, in like 15 minutes or less, we can get you coverage. And so when I'm talking to an Ethos lead, I'm processing that. And so really my general thought process with an Ethos lead is I'm trying to get in, I'm trying to help them take the next step, and I'm trying to lean really hard, not even in the price point, but to convenience to say, I know you were coming to get this over with. We're going to move quick. You'll probably be approved instantly. No exams. Oh yeah, no exams. That would be crazy. I would never do an exam. No, no, no. They're just trying to get it over with. And so with ethos leads, real quick hits, but I don't want that to be confused with low premiums because
Right.
it doesn't have to be low premiums. There's VPs, executives, CEOs on there that are trying to go on there and say, hey, listen, because the behind the scenes with Ethos is this has been heavily promoted. It's backed by Hollywood stars like Will Smith and them are investors in Ethos. It's heavily promoted. It's well known. It's just not the traditional model. They're trying to create a system. It's kind of like I would liken it to it's the best swing at AI trying to AI out life insurance. Like, hey, get in there, boom, boom, get out, you're done, you're covered. They don't want to interact with people. And so I'm trying to make this as convenient as possible for them and kind of almost subconsciously introduce a human element to it and say, hey, listen, this isn't what was on the website is what you were looking for, blah, blah, blah. But hey, listen, just so you know, um, we're gonna still give you a very convenient process. And I'll just give a quick shout out. I've been doing a lot of reading, work together, processing with Justin Lay, Chris Bittinger. They're rocking those ethos leads and they're killing it. They're doing really, really great, rocking up some big clients, y'all. Like big clients are coming. One of them was a buy-sell agreement, a business owner that was looking for some coverage and it turned into a buy-sell. There's some big clients on there. And then I would say I always give him a shout out anytime I'm on a call, but Dave Hartman has been just phenomenal in helping me navigate some of the final expense cases I've been with. So I just wanted to give him a shout out that he's helped even with those ethos clients because a lot of these clients weren't looking for complications, but when they hit them, we were able to navigate it. But like I said, I don't want to talk too much on the front end because I think Claudia has been actually more boots on the ground, especially recently with Ethos. And even some of the insights that she's given me, I think I've been doing Ethos longer than her, but she's saying things that are really profound. And she's even teaching me in this season more about Ethos leads.
Hey, John.
Good morning.
Hey, Rob. Good morning. And listen, I was turning red. Thank you so much for your kind words, Rob. And I think it's just such a beauty of being part of a special family called Cornerstone, right? That, so many different leaders and everybody brings different wisdom and different strength to the table. And we're able to just come together and learn from another. And listen, I'm here to serve. So if there's anything I can do for anyone, I'm here to serve the same way that John served us and the same way that you helped me understand how to get results from Ethos, right? So it's the beauty of working together. And I have been in this business for 17 years, and for the new folks that are here, this is not the norm, okay? This is definitely not the norm. We're in a team that everybody help one another. And I have been places where you kind of got to watch your back, but not here, right, John? We have a family model that we're here to help one another. So you're welcome, Rob, and I cannot wait to see the results at the church that you're going to get it. And I think it's just the beginning of many more, in a little bit, we're going to be hearing Rob, John teach about like how to do seminars, right? Because he got it and we all going to be follow suit. So I cannot wait to get the results. And hey, there's a ton of people outside of the lead system that needs insurance. We cannot be a lead junkie. We got to think about that. We cannot be a secret agent. And that's the beauty of being able to having connections and relationships everywhere we go and preserve them because we never know what they can lead.
That's right. Love it. So Claudia, so you have been massively successful in mortgage protection. Are you blending a little bit of Ethos leads with MP or with like where are you finding Ethos to fit inside of your personal business?
John, I am really enjoying calling Ethos leads. I remember, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, John, JK2 and I called Rob and we kind of went over with him the phone script. Like it doesn't matter how many years of experience you have, we got to be humble enough that when someone is getting results, just call and ask the question, right? Just be humble and be a student of the business.
Yeah.
Because I don't care that I've been in the business for 17 17 years and Rob too, he's getting results and I'm not, right? So, and I pick up the phone, I called him and I say, hey, what you're doing, he kind of, talked to me and guide me on how to call the Ethos leads. And it's a very simple Ethos lead, a customer service call. It's keep it simple. It's a customer service call. We're calling them to find out why did not finish the application. Like, what can I do for you? Do you need help? Okay. And I think a little bit for us to learn on the Ethos is that if you go to the Ethos website, you're talking to the computer. And if you want a whole life policy, but Ethos think you need a term policy, guess what? They're just going to offer you term and you cannot change. So a lot of those folks are not finishing their application because they're being offered something that they don't want it. They don't want a $10,000 whole life policy just because they're 72 years old. They don't want a, term policy because they're 30. They want a whole life policy, So there's so much money to be made, John, because I feel like, they're either not getting what they're offered. There's a lot of wives out there trying to get applications on the husband and they don't have the license. There is a ton of wives. You call a man and a woman answered phone, the wife started the application. So
Yes.
it's just calling them and say, what can I do for you? That's my whole entire mentality. I learned that from Rob and I'm duplicating that. I am not going to reinvent the wheel because he's getting the results. And I hope that the agents that are here that are thinking about working Ethos, don't reinvent the wheel, okay? Just duplicate what Rob is doing because he's getting the results. I'm getting the results. Cases start getting the results. We start seeing Chuck getting the results and Lisa. It just so many people because we're keeping it simple, John, and we are basically duplicating what Rob has been telling us for the past few weeks.
Okay, so a couple things. Okay, so Ethos leads, for those of you guys out there that still do not hear what we teach, Ethos leads are not perfect. They're not perfect. Some of them don't answer the phone. Some of them don't want life insurance. Some of them are going to tell you to not. Okay. But Ethos, the story of the Ethos lead, I can definitely sense that Rob, out of working other leads, loves the story of the Ethos leads. Claudia loves the story of JK. I love the story of the Ethos leads. Part of why I'm excited about working them and kind of establishing what my close ratio is, which is going to be my next question for both Claudia and Rob. But I love establishing close ratios because I think every lead type has its own close ratio. So love the story of the lead you're working. Love it. I love the story of the incomplete IVRs. Okay. But love the story of the lead you're working and know that there's a close ratio and you're only going to confirm the close. I don't care how good you think you get. You're only going to confirm week after week after week. If you do the work, you're only going to confirm the close ratio. So weeks that you have the greatest week ever, and you feel like you're God's gift to life insurance, just know that you're most likely going to have that correction week. Okay. I remember being in the back of a meeting room one time, and I remember this agent as clear as day, Claudia Matthew, and you were around back then. But I remember this agent brought this brand new agent. I think they had been on board for about 30 days. Rob Gillen, you're going to love this. And brought him into the back of the room, and Barry Clarkson was there to do the speaking, the opportunity meeting that night. Matter of fact, I think it was even in Orlando, Claudia, but somewhere in Florida. But anyway, this agent, this manager brought this brand new, and Casey Gregory, he introduced this person to Barry, and he said, Barry, in his first 30 days, this is how much the agent has written. And it was massive. Like it was so like it was incredible. And Barry went, hey, congratulations. It's nice meeting you and whatever. And then they left. And Barry turned around and looked at me and went, I sure hope they stick around the next 30 days when it corrects. And it just hit me. It went, man, how much wisdom is in that? So anyway, okay, so the ethos leads. Okay, so for you salespeople, we're kind of more sewing into y'all today. Okay, but you builders, tomorrow morning in our meeting, I want you to remember this, because the ethos lead gives us something really important to recruit to. Why is it that network marketers always outgrow life insurance? And here's the answer. The answer is because most network marketers, even though their product pales in comparison to the importance of life insurance, the network marketers always get more excited about their product than we do about life insurance. It is what it is. But ethos leads it for you guys looking for an excuse to go build. If you're looking for a reason to go build, hey, go tell the world about this new lead source. Because here's the thing, and Rob, Claudia, here's what I get when I talk to Chris Tinsman, and we're going to dive into this next Thursday. I know that she does not associate herself with Ethos, but I'm going to tell you, sometimes people kind of associate me with just being an Ethos sales rep, and I kind of like that. Like people think I'm with Ethos and I'm calling just to helping them, Rob, get across the finish line, and it gives me instant credibility. You know, I do let them know that I'm a broker and I have access to a lot. I go through that whole story, but I love the fact that, you know, I'm associated with Ethos, and hey, just giving you a call, just want to help you get this in place, adding that human element to it. So Rob and Claudia, I want you to speak to that, your connection to Ethos, number one, and number two, close ratios, as best as you've been able to tell so far. Rob?
Yeah, so when I start a call, I'll introduce, I'll say, hey, is this John? Hey, John, this is Rob. I was just calling. I'm a life insurance specialist. I do have an appointment with those carriers. Just wanted to reach out and connect with you. I saw you were on the website, and just wanted to follow up. It looks like you weren't able to get coverage, and really the reason for my call was I was just calling to find out what your experience was. You know, what did you encounter on the site, and what do you think is the primary reason you weren't able to get coverage? I do that for two reasons. One, I want to get in and immediately establish myself as credible with Ethos in a way that is believable to the client, but also ethically and legally okay. So I don't say that I'm an employee of Ethos. I say that I'm a life insurance specialist that is appointed with carriers on Ethos. So I'm saying I'm not with Ethos. I don't work with Ethos. I'm not calling you from Ethos. I always think in the context of my business of what would be ethically, morally, legally okay for me to say. And yet I do want to come across, like Bill said, I mean, like John said, of just creating that connection to Ethos. So I fly under the radar of the Ethos brand. But then I say, hey, listen, what's your experience? And this does two things. One, it gets me past the hang up moment where, hey, I'm not interested. Thanks for the time, but no, I don't have time today. Instead, it just gives them a question, and it gets them talking.
Mm-hmm.
So if they start talking about their experience, no matter what it was, it gives me the excuse to then go, okay, I see. Absolutely. All right. So why do you think that happened? And I get to ask follow-up questions. I get to weigh in. And if I can get them talking for 10, 20, 30, 40, 60 seconds, that's a huge win in the dynamic of the call. I don't want to be talking a lot in that first minute. So in the back of my mind, as I'm working through the call, I'm thinking, what percentage of that first minute of that call can be just them?
Love
I'm
it.
trying to get him, warm it up. I'll say it again. Hey, John, how you doing? Hey, my name's Rob Gillen. I'm life insurance specialist appointed with some carriers here at Ethos. Just wanted to give you a quick call, but you weren't able to get coverage when you were on the website. I just wanted to call real quick and just ask you what your experience was and why do you think you weren't able to get coverage? So it's like a 10-second, just 10 second. I'm just pivoting real quick. And then I'm handing the mic to them. And then I'm just letting them talk. And so it takes quite a bit of emotional, mental effort for them to say, you know what? I'm not interested. You're not interested in what? I'm not selling anything.
Yeah.
I was just asking you how your experience was. As a matter of fact, I would say, John, about a quarter of the people I call think it's a survey. They actually think I'm just surveying them on their experience. Oh, yeah, it was weird. I got on and I was trying to find out how to navigate the website, and then I was, filling out information, but they weren't even asking me about coverage. They were asking me, am I trying to protect my kids and I just thought I was confused. So I ended up getting off of there, and so they're thinking it's more of like a survey sometimes, and that's great because it just removes the entire sales element. And then I can, make a comment about the weather, or I hear your dog barking in the background, or, it is crazy. Life insurance is so complicated, isn't it? Yeah, that's wild. And I'm just building rapport with them
Yeah.
before I even introduce the concept of sales. And my whole goal in the entire call is to not come across as a salesperson. I'm just, like you said, a representative with Ethos. I'm here to try to find out what your experience was. And then on the back end, when they least kind of expect it, I can say, hey, listen, just so you know, as a specialist, I'm appointed with way more carriers than you're going to find on the website,
Right.
and I can offer you pricing that you're not going to encounter. I'd imagine, 95% of the people I speak to on a daily basis didn't get coverage because of, you know, health rating. They were pivoted to a carrier they weren't really interested in working with, or a product they weren't interested, or maybe it was price point or things like that. As a specialist, I can help you navigate that. And real quick, I want to let you I know you were here for the sake of convenience. So glad that Ethos and the website offers that to you. What we're going to give to you is really close to that. It's just one step further. So you're going to get a trusted guide that's going to help you. We're going to do it over the phone. Usually the application takes about 10 to 15 minutes, and usually you're instantly approved. No exams or anything like that, of course. Is that something that you'd be interested in? You have 5 minutes, give me some basic information. And then my goal is to try to close them right there on the phone. And what I'll do, and I got a lot of this from Derek Awazier, is I'll try to pivot to say, hey, listen, I know you're busy. Everyone is super, super busy. Aren't you so busy? Feel like we get busier every day, huh? Yeah. And so what I want to do is I don't want to make this into multiple sets of phone calls, and we have to schedule things and put things on the calendar. I don't know about you. I got lots on my calendar. I mean, is your evening pretty packed out? Yeah, mine too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, if you feel comfortable, we can go ahead and do this. I said this on a past call, so I don't want to go into this again. But there's been times where literally the client, because it might be a one-legger, and for newer agents, a one-legger means you're talking to an individual and their spouse or the co-borrower on a mortgage protection loan isn't on the call with them. And so if they say, hey, that my spouse isn't here, my wife would kill me if I applied for life insurance and didn't talk to her. And I said, hey, listen, I know this is kind of a big ask potentially. Do you want me to just hang on the call? You want to go ahead and loop her in as well? I mean, we're only going to be on here for about 60 seconds if you just want to bounce it off her real quick. I think the price makes sense. This isn't even a really big policy, right? Oh, no, you know what? Yeah, why not? Let me give her a call. I don't know if she'll answer. Yeah, just go ahead and try. And there's been at least 2 or 3 times now where they'll loop their spouse in right there on the call, John. And
Love it.
oh, this is great. And then I just break the ice instantly. I jump in. Hey, Sarah, just so you know, John's about to buy life insurance and he didn't want to get a divorce. And so he wanted to call you and ask you about it first. Oh, that's funny. And then we'll just talk about the price point. And I know that sounds reasonable. Okay. Is there anything we need to look out for? And, is there any, fine print that we don't know? No, this is gonna be pretty straightforward. You'll probably be covered either today or tomorrow, to be honest. Oh, okay, great. You just kind of just roll into the close. If they're not going to close on the call right there, I try to book them after work.
Gotcha. I was going to ask that.
And then real quick, I'm sorry, John, close ratio, it's usually 1 to 2 per 20 is what I'm usually closing. And
Right,
that's
so-
aged. That's aged. So I'm buying, I mean, this is like aged leads, not the ones that you were talking about, the brand new ones. I'm sure the close rate's a little bit better on those ones. But if I'm buying aged leads for $5, $6, even $8, I'm usually buying about 20 for every 1 to 2 close, which may sound like a lot, but when you start crunching the numbers, you know, that's the cost of an A lead. Maybe one, maybe two A leads will be more than that.
Look,
Mortgage protection.
when you look at the cost of the leads that you're working and you're closing 2 out of 20, I'm going to tell you what, you're going to take that close ratio and you're going to take that revenue and you're going to run with it, because you can take that revenue and you can produce that profitability every single week to live like very few people live. I mean, again, like you just said it, Rob, it's the cost of doing business, but it's like, I want people, as they think about their business as a CEO, like closing 2 out of 20 based on what I know price that you paid for those 500 leads, Rob. Like, dude, that's massive. And I think that as you do start, it's going to be interesting as you do start to transition into the $8 leads or even the $18 leads. It's going to be interesting just to see if that elevates your close ratio a little bit. So Claudia, your turn.
Yes, and John, I totally agree with what Rob was saying, with the Ethos leads, is just finding out their story, why they were there, because we can give prices when we're not telling what that policy is going to do to them. So finding the need so we can tap into their emotion, right? When you're calling a mortgage protection, we know the whole entire idea is let's pay the mortgage so you guys don't lose the house if you have a terminal, chronic, and critical illness and one of you pass away. That's the story of a mortgage protection. We don't need to find out the need. The need is right there. All we're gonna do is ask for the health, the income and things like that. In here, it's different because we don't need to ask them for the income unless we're already on the application. In here, just like what Rob said, let's just, figure out why you didn't complete it. Let's just understand the reason why, because if we jump in as a salesperson, we are not overcoming the reason why they didn't finish. Right. And it's the convenience. Ethos is convenience. We're not getting on the camera. I give them when we start the application, say, listen, I'm going to send an email with a copy of my license so you have my credentials and you know exactly who I am. Okay. Again, we are taking elephants out of the room. Even though we are using the name of Ethos, we also give the credibility to our clients by them have the copy of our license. And I tell them, like, we can continue on the phone, or there's also a link in my email. If you want to click on the link, you'll be able to see me on camera. Nobody ever say yes. Nobody ever say yes. They just want to be on the phone. It's the convenience, So, John, a lead is a number, right? It's a name and a number. Ethos is a name and a number. Mortgage protection is a name and a number. I don't care if the mortgage protection is, a day old or 2 years old. It's a name and a number. It's the same thing with the Ethos. And what we are doing is we are calling them, finding out their need, okay? And then going on and giving them options and help them take care of their need. That's it. We can go in and read a lead. A lot of the new agents, they get a lead, they're already calling the manager, like, what do I write? They're 42 years old, like, do I go with GP? I'm like, you can, like, when I book an appointment, I don't even pay attention to how old they are, So we have to go in with a clean mindset, with a sheet of paper, with the need analysis, and we create the picture of their need. We find the solution, we present it to them, and then we write the application. It's that simple. It cannot be complicated, because if we go in thinking about we already know what they wanted, we're not going to close them,
Right.
because when we find out the reason why, then we can use that as their why, and then we can tap into the emotion when we give them prices. and
Right.
options, and create the urgency, creating the urgency. I am about, like last week I purchased about $450 on Ethos leads. Okay, it was a mix of like age and new leads, and I submitted out of those $450 about $7,000 in annual premium out of those leads. Okay, and I still have a lot of lead people that I did not got a hold of it. Yeah, we still have that. Here's the thing: no show rate is gonna be very high. Hello there. I see that you have a visitor
Say
there,
hi.
Rob.
This is
I see.
Adeline Grace. This is my 9-year-old.
Hello, Alan. I know.
Beautiful.
My
Yep.
daughter Gabriella, she's 9. She comes all the time. Everybody knows her.
She, she is not
So,
shy. She's pretending like she's shy. Okay.
um, so, with the ethos leads, it's just calling them. There's going to be a lot of no shows. So for example, I had a great day on Monday. I submitted, I think, like $5,700 on Monday. It was a great day. Tuesday and Wednesday, guess what? I had a bunch of no show.
Yeah.
Okay, then on Thursday, submit another application. So I can sit here and focus on the negative of a bunch of appointments. I dial on Tuesday, I dial on Wednesday, I book all these appointments. I had agents showing up for me to do live dials, like nobody show up. Okay, so I can focus on the negativity part, John, or I can look back and say, but I spent $450 and I submitted out of almost $8,000. I don't care. I roll 4 applications on Monday, 1 on Thursday. I
Yeah.
did it. I got the money back. So yes, there's going to be a lot of no show. There's going to be a lot of people that book an appointment, guys. But if you are being profitable and if you're getting a great return of your investment, so what, John? We pay $80 on an A lead. Guess what? They don't no show too.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So,
There's closure
focus
issue.
on, yes. So focus on, yes, it's a higher no show for the appointments. That's why we try to close on the phone when we are with them right there. It is a higher no show, but we are making money, John. Who makes $7,000 working, 4 days a week out of the comfort of their home, just making calls and helping people out?
That's it.
you
That's it.
know I'll take no show as long as I continue making the money. I'm gonna focus on the results, not on the no's. Like, read that book, go for the no. Focus on the results that you're gonna get along the way. We're gonna get a lot of no's on the phone. We are going to get yes, but we are going to go through a lot of no's. We're going to get people that show up for the appointment, but we also going to get people that don't show up for the appointment. But I always make sure that the agents are focusing on the positive and the results, not on the issues that come along the way. It's part of the business.
Yeah.
If you cannot handle that, I'm sorry, you won't survive, just like the person that goes with a bad month, right, John? It is part of the business. But the people that don't quit and keep showing up and doing the work every single day and not going super high and super low, and disappear because you didn't roll anything for 2 or 3 days, like the people that keep showing up, they will get the results, because there's a lot of money to be made on those $15 and $8 leads.
And Claudia, just really quick, just maybe expand on this, but your posture when you're calling the Ethos leads, are you taking the same posture as Rob, as just like the customer service rep?
Yeah, absolutely. So if I call you, John, a little bit different than Rob, because again, we all have different personality. We're not all going to use the same script because we're going to find something that fit our personality, but we get the same results, right? So basically, if I'm calling you, and I'll just basically do the same thing as Rob, I say, hey, John, this is Claudia Matthew. I am calling you because you started an application on the Ethos website for life insurance. I am a field underwriter, and my job is just to give you a call and just find out what happened. Like, we noticed that you didn't finish your application. I just want to see, is there anything I can do for you, or do you have any questions? Be quiet. Don't say anything. Let them talk. Okay. Just let them talk. And then, as they're talking, you're paying attention And then it's how you're going to answer that, you know. A lot of times is because if it's prices, what I tell them, I say, listen, you know, just so you know, when you are purchasing a life insurance application online, there's very few options that we can offer you because you're not speaking with a specialist like myself. Okay, the good thing about me calling you today, John, is just that I'm going to have access to so many other products and carriers. And what that means to you, you're going to get better benefits and you're going to save a ton of money just because we are on this phone call right now. That's it. You
Okay.
know, so basically,
No, go ahead. Finish up.
no, so basically what I'm doing, I'm that good person, okay, who's calling you to serve you and to help you save money and get a better option, a better price. That's it. That's who I am. And if you don't want to that, okay, so what next? You know what I mean? There's more people for me to call, you know? So that's my approach is like, how can I serve you? What can I do for you? So we can, you know, Rob say, get to the finish line. And I say, what can I do for you? So we can help you get the protection that you need in place.
So let me ask you guys this really quick. We'll go into rapid fire mode so we can get off on time. So what does it look like? The people you get on the phone that you don't close? Because sometimes when we teach sales, and I was telling Bill Martin this recently, you know, Bill, it's almost like sometimes you never get a no. And I know you got a ton of no's, okay? But and that's, I think we're all guilty of that when we teach sales, right? So what does it look like, these clients that you get on the phone that, you know what, you don't close them right then, you don't get the two legs out of the one legger, you don't like, so what does it look like for the people that you don't close?
Yeah, I think, you know, I actually put this in the chat. If you can't handle the no's, you're not going to make it in this business.
Amen.
Doesn't matter what lead you have, guys. And I've been talking with Chris and Justin about this a lot. And above that in the chat, I also quoted Claudia saying there are a ton of people outside the lead system that don't need that need insurance, and we can't be lead junkies. We have to get out and help people. Half of my business this week was warm market. And it's going to be 10 times easier to sell to warm market than to leads. And so I'm selling to the lady that owns the gas station down my house, down from my house. I'm selling to 3 people at my church. I sold to my cousin and my uncle this week. And that pastor, Claudia, that I'm doing at his church, I didn't just pull him out of the phone book. He went to high school with me. I knew he was a pastor, and I said, "Hey, I'd heard of this concept. I just wanted to pitch it to you. You know, do you have?" And he's like, "Brother, we're doing a financial series this summer. That's unbelievable. Yeah, I want my people to have insurance. Would you be willing to fly out?" Yeah, I would. So a lot of it's warm market, but if you're doing leads, there's going to be no's. And so I just think the most important thing for all agents to understand, but especially newer ones, and I'll be the first one to be the sacrificial lamb to all of y'all to say, just it took me too long to figure this out. So if you're smarter than me, if you're better than me, if you want to be better in this industry than I was early on, please listen to my advice and heed it. Just get over the nose. It's not that big of a deal. It doesn't matter. You know, like Claudia said, she paid a few $100s for leads. She made $7,000. Who cares? Honestly, who cares what a stranger saying no to you matters to you? Even someone that you know saying no to you. I asked my uncle if he wants insurance. He said no.
Right.
Okay, totally fine. How's Aunt Cherie? She's doing great. I'll see you at the family reunion. Who cares?
That's it.
Everyone needs life insurance, right? It's not that big of a deal. Shake it off. The fact that you're over, Jason Kaya just said it's not personal. It's not personal. It's not that big of a deal, guys. Like, if you're afraid of a no, you know what I think you're truly afraid of? I think you're afraid of the unknown. Because once you actually start getting no's, you realize, not that big of a deal. You know, I told Lisa this over text. Lisa Kurtz was hyping me up this week about my production this week. I said, I'll confess to you something, John. I lost more in business than I made this week. I made 18,000. I have 4 more apps I'm submitting tomorrow and the next day. I'll probably end with about 23. I probably lost about 25. That's a true story. I lost 2 buy sells. I lost 3 really big term policies. Tried to get a woman approved. And we found out during the application, she's not going to actually be approved. It was basically going to be a decline. I'm not going to drag her through that and mess up her record. So I probably lost 25,000. So the thing is, and Justin, Chris, and I've been talking about this, your success is actually almost handcuffed to rejection. The no's go hand in hand with it. So for me, Claudia, I don't know if it's like this with you. If I'm not getting a lot of no's, I feel uncomfortable now. I feel weird if I'm not getting rejected now. It's weird. I mean, if I go to Tuesday and it's the end of day Tuesday already and people haven't been telling me no, I'm like, man, you're not going hard enough. Like you need to wake up, you know. And I'll say something real quick and then I'll hand it off to Claudia. But John, even something you said earlier when you said we don't post our closes and our sales on GroupMe to boast. We're trying to help people. I would take it a step further and say it inspires us. So if you're making sales and you're not posting, you're stealing from this group.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when I see Anne Marie close a policy and post it, it goes, oh, I got to get on it.
Yeah.
Right? You know, when I see Jeremy Saliz get on there and post, oh man, I just closed this. I'm like, man, I didn't close one today. And I kind of been slacking a little bit, right? I got to get it on, and it's all of us. All of us need a little bit of a kick in the butt because it's human nature to take our foot off the gas. And so when I see the GroupMe, John, lighting up with close, 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 I'm like, man, Rob, what else can you do? Who else can you text? Is there additional business in one of your households? Is there a referral that you didn't ask for? Patrick was hitting you up this morning about Debt Free for Life. Why didn't you talk to that lady? You thought you were going to. Why didn't you? So when we're lighting up the chat like that, it never hits me as boasting. It hits me as iron sharpens iron. I see the sparks flying and I'm like, man, I want to get in on it too. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to leads, the no's are going to be the no's. I'll give you a quick example of one. Hey, I'm not interested. I got on there. I realized the price was not going to be what I wanted it to be. I don't want to talk to you. Oh, did you get it taken care of? I didn't. I talked to my husband. He has coverage through work and we're going to pass for now. And I love Bill's quote. I actually wrote it down and put it on the cork board. You can't see it, but it's right there. If there's no pain, there's no presentation. If there's no pain, there's no presentation. And so if I hear from the client, hey, listen, I'm just not interested. There's nothing there. I'm going to give you, like Claudia says, I'm giving you what you wanted. It's just a name and a number. You said you wanted this, I'm going to give it to you. And if they don't want it, I'm not there to try to create the hunger for it. And so if there's no pain, there's no presentation. So that's why I'll breeze through no's like crazy. They don't faze me anymore. It's just a part of the process. And if I invest, I invested $2,800 on Ethos leads in January, aged Ethos leads. Since then, up to this point, I've brought in somewhere around 40,000, including pending. I think that's a pretty good investment, John. I would do that again 100 times over. And honestly, like you said, and this is where I'm starting to realize I'm actually messing up, is I need to buy more leads, right? I need to buy more leads. I need to buy newer leads because I made 40,000, but I could have made 80. I could have made 200. I could have. And so the only thing slowing me down at this point is not my production, my drive, my ability to handle the no's. It's I need to get more leads and I need to get newer leads. But I wonder what Claudia would have to.
Yeah. One of the things one of the things that I'm considering doing, again, this is just a beta test for me doing these Ethos leads. And I'll be honest in keeping you guys, I'll be really transparent in what I find, but I love what drives these people to the Ethos site. And so even the people I can't get on the phone with, I send them a text message and I'll just share. So yesterday, so I sent this text message right here. I said, and the guy's name was Peter. Peter, just following up on the voicemail I left for you yesterday regarding the life insurance you're wanting to put in place. I'll have a little time this afternoon around 4:30. Otherwise, I'm a lot more flexible tomorrow from 9 to 9. Lastly, I do a weekly short video on life insurance. I'll add you so you can get to know me and learn about things most life insurance people will never tell you. So what I'm going to start with, like every single Ethos lead person I buy, I'm buying a pipeline. I'm buying customers. They may not buy this week, but you know what? I'm just gonna toy around with sending them a 30, 45 second. Like I've already written down topics. Let's see here. So maybe I wrote it on a different sheet of papers, but I wrote down topics like, because I'm getting a lot of work insurance, Rob. Like, well, I've got coverage through work and, you know, whatever. And so I'm work insurance. I'm going to do life insurance with no living benefits. I'm going to do a little 30-second thing on why companies have a 2-year wait. And I'm going to do a thing on how life insurance companies make money. Less than 2%. Rob, you even mentioned less than 2% of term policies pay out. You know, I'm going to do a thing on term with cash value, but I'm going to do these topics, and I just want to brand myself, because all of the Ethos leads I'm working are around me. I'm local to these people. I'm not yet working at a distance. I'm working locally. And so I'm just looking at it as an opportunity to brand me as the life insurance specialist. So Claudia, close us out.
Yeah, Don, and I'm just going to follow up with what Rob was saying about, you know, the nose, and it all comes to your mindset when you're approaching this business, right? You know, like when you're not getting enough no, like for me, like when a client is too nice on the phone, I feel like, yeah, not show, no show, right? There's no pushback in here, just like, yeah, call me at 5, like, nope, you know, like don't do that. So it's all about the mindset when we're working with the leads. Okay, the reason why we have the virtual office, like the ones that are not showing up for the virtual office, like why are you alone and depressed in your home working by yourself when you can be joining us and hearing agents, you know, brand new agents without experiencing dialing and getting results, or learning from Casey running a life appointment, you know, or listening to Rob, like why you're not showing up. So, you know, when we're not getting results, and listen, I've been in this business for 17 years. I had been the top 20, you know, agents. I got the trophies. I got it. Okay. I had been as high and as low. Okay. But it all comes to right here, our mindset. When we're not getting the results in their mindset, because their mindset is stopping us, and like we get afraid of a no. Okay, we get scared of a no. Let me tell you something. If I get 20 no's today, I'm going to sleep the same way if I got 3 applications submitted. You know what I mean? It's not going to take my sleep away. I wanted them to answer as fast as possible, tell me no, so I can put a lead on the side and I can move on. You know, pick up the phone and tell me a no, so I stop wasting my time calling you and texting you and leaving you a voicemail. Okay, go for the no, get out of the way. So, you know, it's a mindset, guys. You know, if you read How to Win, so I raised myself from failure to succeed in selling it. It talks about you making money on the phone. You know, like if I roll, you know, made $7,000 last week, and if I dial, you know, $200,000 to make 7,000. I made money when I dial. Every time I pick up the phone and I dial that person, I made money right there, not on the appointment. So don't be afraid of the no. You know, I say this on a call last Thursday, you know, everything that you wanted and you don't have, it's outside of your comfort zone. Okay. So think about that. Everything that you wanted and you don't have is outside of your comfort zone. So if you're comfortable in your house and you don't want to pick up the phone and dial, guess what? It's going to reflect in your income. If that's what you want and nobody's going to call you out, it's okay. You know, it is okay, but don't, if you want to make 10,000 and you're not dialing, don't complain, you know, or don't quit and say that this doesn't work, because it does work. Okay, it works. We're getting results. Okay, so change your mindset. Read, be careful who you talk to. Be careful who you whine to. Okay, because negativity finds negativity. Every time we go to the conference, we find those people in the corner, talking all the negativity, talking. They find one another. You're supposed to go through the valley. You're not supposed to set camp and put a fireplace and then call your friends to whine and complain. You're supposed to go through the valley and grow and get the results that you needed. Okay, so get involved with your growing up line. Ask questions, show up, do the work. You will get the results, because I'm a living proof of this. I came from a third world country. My English is not perfect. I'm raising 5 kids on my own, never went to college, and I had been blessed enough that I made more income than many lawyers and doctors that live around me. And I'm not saying that to brag. I say that if I can do it, you can do it, because there's a lot of people in here that is way smarter than I am, but you don't have work ethic. You got the diplomas in the wall, but you don't have work ethic. You make collection of diplomas, but you don't actually get one of diploma and go make money. Okay, and I'm not here to offend anybody, but I just really felt like somebody need to hear that. Okay, just do the work. That's it. Be humble and do the work. And one thing that I want to say, John, is today, just to my last thing that I say, 8 p.m. Part-time new agent call today. We're going to be talking about the attitude of the agent. That's what we're going to be covering today, is the attitude of the agent, like how you're going to posture yourself to get results when you're talking to your client. Okay, they're not serving you, you serving them. So it's a mindset. It's a continue of what I'm saying right now. It's a mindset. And Rob, thank you for being an example to us. Thank you for sharing with us how to get results. Listen, it is a blessing, and it's going to be a blessing for so many people, your servant heart. And thank you for having me in a call, John. I really appreciate it.
You got it, girl. And way to go. Fantastic. The call tonight sounds amazing. And I'll just leave you guys with this. I don't want you to ever forget this. Okay. Nobody fears getting a no. It's just let me just tell you, if somebody ever says that it's the reason people don't get no's is because of fear, I always disagree with that, because you can get told no all the time. We all get told no all the time. Nobody fears it. I mean, it's like, okay, I'm going to give you a no right now. No. I'm going to give you a hard no right now. No. It doesn't scare anybody. People that don't get no's, people that don't embrace the process and do what Claudia just talked about doing, it's always a pride and ego issue. So you not getting no's and your lack of activity is always a pride and ego issue, not a fear issue. God bless. Go out there and have a great day.